that soundtrack though. I understand that some people prefer the American soundtrack, and you know what? That's absolutely okay. But you cannot deny that there is a lot of good effort and a lot of quality put into the soundtrack of the Japanese version. There's also a few other odd things done around here. For example, this is your not labyrinth zone. People really hate these kind of levels. Me, I kinda like them, as I've already mentioned before. I think it's an interesting challenge, and it's, well, it is a fun mechanic, because it is uncommon to have a character in a video game be susceptible to drowning. Of course, this does tend to introduce some phobias on younger players, and eventually they just tend to associate water with bad. Me, not so much. I already had that association made earlier, before I even got introduced to this stuff. I cut my leg one time while I was visiting a lake with my parents. Now that's fun. I think I still have a scar on my foot from that. But that's okay, it didn't really do any damage to me, it's just... Someone left a broken bottle at the shore, I accidentally stepped into it, cut my leg, well, my foot, and well, of course, I was young, it fucking scared the shit out of me, but it's okay. Didn't do any more damage to me than you would expect. Notice that there is a very distinct lack of "oh shit, you're in danger" kind of music. I'm gonna fucking drown, aren't I? Ooh, no, I will not. Yeah, there was a very distinct lack of "oh shit, you're fucking drowning" scenic music. Why is that the case? Well, I don't know. But the thing is, this is probably a good way to start out if you're someone that is still getting familiar with the mechanics of drowning in this franchise. Because you're not gonna get fucking jump scared by the developers. That's pretty convenient, all things considered. Or so you might think. In reality, I find that this tends to be kind of annoying, because while the "oh shit, you're drowning" music was a bit scary, it also was a very good indicator that you ought to do something about it. Here, in this game, you don't have that indicator, and as such, you can kind of not notice that something's happening. I've had a few instances where I just didn't realize that I was suddenly drowning. And because of that, well, I drowned. A very big inconvenience when it happens. But luckily for you, there are still some sound effects in place to help you identify the issue. You will have some kind of like a countdown sound, and you will also have the numbers popping up over your head, so you just need to pay a little attention. Yeah, you hear that countdown sound? It only shows up at the last 3 seconds, not the first time the encounter appears, so that's a bit annoying. But if you're looking out for this kind of stuff in this area, which, I mean, you really should be, I don't think this is gonna be an issue. I also find it a bit more enjoyable that it's not interrupting the music of this stage, because I really like this track. Nice. Secret stash. Enemies are kinda shit in this game, by the way, but there may be some pretty good reasons behind it. The main reason I can think of is that the level design is very vertical, and as such, it introduces a thing that Sonic games aren't exactly known for: backtracking. I mean, at any point in time, if you see a Sonic game that has backtracking, you tend to think that it's gonna be shit, and it's not a bad assumption to make necessarily. It tends to be the case. What are those two switches for, I wonder? It doesn't look like they did anything. Oh well. But it's not a bad assumption, like I said. That tends to be the case for shitty games. But not in this game's case, no. In this game's case, instead, you need the backtracking if you intend to beat the game in a specific way. That is, going after the robot generators. If you're going for the method that I'm going for, which is just collecting all the time stones, this is irrelevant. And because of that, the stages tend to be kind of short. That's okay though. A lot of times, people who don't really like these kind of games tend to complain about the length of the stages, or the zones. The first game's #1 complaint, often from other people, is that it has too many acts. Or, well, in this case, it would be zones. Notice that. Ah, interesting. Very unique. But yeah, usually for the first Sonic game, the main complaint is that it has too many acts. Why is it 3 acts? Why not 2? Well, that's really up to preference, I think. I'm not against more acts, as long as they're not too long. And in my experience, they've never been too long. So, I'm okay with that. If you have acts that are too long, even your 2-act formula isn't gonna help you much. Oh! Don't touch that water, it's evil! Maybe Sonic is like a Satanist and he can't touch water. Or maybe he's a vampire. Well, that would be a plot twist of a lifetime. Wait a minute, that would make sense considering all the secret bullshit you can find in this game. Maybe it's time for some game theory. Nah, I don't give a shit enough. Ah, fuck! Keep time! No! They keep running away from me and I keep missing my mark. Shit! No! I fucked up. Oh well, I still got 4 out of 7. There's still plenty of opportunities to get some more. It's just that now I'll have to get them somewhere else. What's the next stage after this anyway? I know someone who's looking at this is laughing his or her ass right now. Because they know what the next stage is, and they know that it's gonna suck for me to try and get the special stages. Well, guess what? Joke's on you. I'm not gonna get them anyway. I'll be honest with you, I kinda like these bad future levels a lot more than the good future levels. And it's probably because the good future levels tend to just look very hippie. That's one way to describe it, I suppose, but the thing is, they look weird. I don't know how to describe them properly, but they're way too happy. Also, where the fuck is Robotnik? Did I really outrun him for once? That's impossible. Wait a minute. I'm looping. Oh shit! I really did outrun the bastard. Where the fuck is he? I didn't know you can actually just outrun the stupid bastard like that. Oh, here. Oh! He just teleported! Ah, here we go. See, this is the unique factor of this game. You have to beat the shit out of him in this first phase of the fight, because otherwise, you don't get down here. And this is a fun boss fight. Robotnik dies from one hit, as I recall, but it's a matter of getting to him. That's gonna be the big challenge. He has a bubble shield. The more bubbles you absorb, well, the more your chances of hitting him improve. But here's the catch. This is the only source of air you have. So if your luck is not helping you out, you just might find yourself out of air and in big trouble. In big trouble. In a small pond. That's the best time to hit him, and as you can see, one hit was just enough. Very frail device, but considering that it's a submarine, more or less, it makes sense. They tend to be rather fragile. When it's rather shallow, of course. Yeah, I need to listen to that Act Clear music again, but I think it says a very interesting kind of phrase, which I think most people will appreciate. Just for the comedic effect. Oh wait, this isn't the stage I had in mind. I thought it was gonna be that stage, which comes after this one. Well, that's fine then. There are still opportunities to obtain some stones. And boy, am I down for some stones! I'm not doing that joke. That one's a little insensitive. So this is a fun stage for all kinds of purposes. It has fun mechanics, it has a fun soundtrack, and I think most people find it very enjoyable to speedrun through here because with enough practice and a good amount of skill, you can get through here very quickly. And you can also find some interesting secrets. For example, in one of these areas, there's a secret room which contains some strange markings on the wall. Most people speculate that those are the initials of the map designer. Or whoever was, well, leaving the initials. Ooh, trippy alert! If you have epileptic seizures, you've already saw the warning message. Hopefully I put it there. If I didn't, please let me know right away, I will fix it immediately. Because this shit can really mess with your mind and your eyesight. Me, I'm already fucked up beyond belief, so it doesn't affect me at any point in time. Stop bumping. Stop. Ow! No! Oh, fuck. This was terrible, man. This was fucking terrible. They tricked me. They tricked me into doing horrible things, like stepping on water. As you... Oh fuck! I touched water again! Give water! No! I mean, give time. Oh well, it's okay. We still got opportunities. As far as I remember, you have an opportunity to get a special stage in every stage. Maybe with the exception of the final stage, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Anyway, we still got plenty of opportunities to get more stones, so we'll be fine. And if we get a bad ending, well, that's okay. It will only make this playthrough more unique, and that is okay. I have mentioned earlier that there is a mechanic involving time travel where some enemies will simply be too worn down to actually do any damage to you. It may be possible to find one of such enemy around here, but in present time they're not as common. In the future, particularly the bad future, because in the good future they don't exist at all, you can find a lot of damaged enemies. They'll have very visible signs of wear and tear, so don't worry if you think you're not gonna find any. You will. It's very easy to notice that there's something wrong about them. They'll have parts of them missing, chunks taken out of their plating, all that kind of stuff. Very easy to recognize. Like this guy, for example. Here, that's a good example. That guy is worn out. As you can see, he's been through some shit, and the only way he can hurt you now is if you fuck up and, well, just run into him like an idiot. These guys need to stop hitting me. I need some rangs. Boy, I need some rangs. Fuck. I missed my time travel. Somewhere up here, apparently there's some kind of a statue you can find. Well, if there is one, I have never seen such a thing. I don't think I ever will. Would be fun if I did though. But it's okay if you don't. We don't have to see literally everything. This isn't a 100% run anyway. Neat. I think the statue actually shows up in the past. Not too familiar with the layout of this level, to be honest. I'm not too familiar with the layouts of the past versions to begin with. Another interesting thing about this game, more specifically the soundtrack part, is that while the present and future variants of the soundtrack are CD quality audio, as in all of the tracks are on the CD, the past version music is not on the CD. It is actually hard-coded into the console itself. Therefore, all of the past versions will be exactly identical no matter which soundtrack you choose. Interesting. Welcome to Cyber Water stage. Ugh. Shit gets even more annoying here. Look at this fucking giant pool of water, and they love flying over it. Bastards to the extreme. So watch your step. Sometimes you will need to plan out your approach very carefully, because it is very possible to fuck yourself over by approaching things from an odd angle. It may also be convenient to destroy some of the blue UFOs earlier, just to get the shoes, because I know they drop time pickups as well when you're short on time. All other times they drop speed shoes, which allows you to cross large gaps just a bit more effectively. Damn, that's a pretty big gap, ain't it? We missed a couple of stones. You shut up down there. Here we go. Boss time. And this boss is easily the easiest of the easy bosses that this game has. But don't worry, it does have something unique about it, and we'll check it out in just a moment. Notice how there's a lot of these treadmills around here. I wonder what kind of mechanic could we be using in this boss arena. Why yes, treadmill. This guy, you're not gonna be able to damage him directly by jumping into him. In fact, you're not even able to approach him directly. What you're trying to do instead is use the treadmill, which is conveniently very metallic, to grind the fucker down until it's gone. Very easy stuff, but don't get intimidated by the bomb dropper. As long as you stay in one specific spot, you can either slow down or jump over this stuff, or both, as I tend to do, with very minimal effort and practically no risk. Make sure not to get the bomb dropper get the better on you and force you all the way to the back, because those spikes will hit you. And I think they are insta-kill. But can we touch them now? No. But at least we know they're not insta-kill. Is it saying teleportation? Yeah. That's what I hear, at least. Here we go. My favorite stage. A lot of people say that they hate this stage. I don't see why. It's super bouncy. Welcome to Wacky Workbench. It's super fucking bouncy, and it has narrow platforms, a very unique stage for this game. Lots of people will say that it's a piece of shit, and for probably a very good reason. It's kinda hard to see where you're going half the time. There are also certain features of this level which can be kind of annoying to get around, like the liquid nitrogen boosters. Yes, I know what I said. While they're not exactly boosters in the same definition as you would think, they are there to freeze you down and make your life more miserable. Somewhere around here you can get yourself into just the right stretch of distance to travel to the future. Hell yeah, my favorite part of the stage here, the bad future, when shit gets real. This fucking factory here is broken down as fuck. Things are dangerous, but that's the way I like it. It's intense. Of course, it's not the monsters, the badniks that you need to worry about. No, it's the fucking stage layout you need to worry about. This is where shit gets real, and this is the kind of stuff I like out of my Sonic game. Platforming challenge to the Supremo. We haven't even seen the best to think about this stage yet, and that is electrocution. Hell yeah, boy. There's plenty of that. There's a lot of electric coils around here, and you can see the background flash a little bit every time they activate. While we might not be able to see them right away, maybe won't even see them at all in this stage, they do exist, and their sole purpose in life is to fuck you up. However, they're not that difficult to avoid, so don't worry about it if you run into them. You just need to use your eyes. I know, for some people it might be difficult, but don't worry. This is not a challenging stage, if you know what you're doing. And of course, pay attention. Ah! Then of course there are situations like that where paying attention is not possible. Just pay attention to which coils are lighting up, then avoid them at all costs. It'll be verticals, horizontals, and diagonals. If you can avoid them, you're good to go. I didn't avoid them when I had the necessary amount of rings, so now I have to scramble to find some. Or to find a fucking time traveling sign to get back to another time period, so I can collect more rings. See, the rings don't really carry over past time periods as far as I know. However, you will notice some odd discrepancies because of that as well. Sometimes you'll find rings in places which make no bloody sense, like inside walls. That's because they aren't inside walls in another time period. They're actually outside and very accessible. Well, that didn't work out too well, but that's okay. We don't need that stuff. We still got opportunities after all.